Hey everyone, and welcome to our new segment, Proton.org's Video Review. To get things rolling, we're starting off with the brand new Proton Iriz. We know it looks great, but it's time to find out if it's actually any good outside the showroom floor. You've seen our walk-around videos, where we tell you everything you need to know about the car, except for the way it drives. That's where this series comes in. Here, it's all about the subjective things. We'll tell you how it feels to be behind the wheel, how comfortable or uncomfortable it is, and of course, our final verdict of the car. So, should you buy the new Proton Iriz? Time to find out. First things first, build quality. You know the saying, it's a Proton lah, what do you expect? Well, in the Iriz, surprise, surprise, because it's actually pretty damn good.
The perceived quality is fantastic. And not just for a Proton either. Until now, the Preve and Suprema S have had the best interiors from Proton, but this is a huge improvement over those two. The plastics are all hard. You can't really expect any more at this price. But the textures, the way everything fits together, it's all very decent indeed.
It's properly modern too. There are 3 USB slots, one here for MP3s, and another 2 back here to plug in your phone or your tablet, which is damn near genius. Me? I'm a bit of a tech geek. I need a fast internet connection on the go. So, I always reserve 1 USB slot for my trusty 4G LTE Porter Wi-Fi by Cellcom.
Moving on, the Iriz is still far from perfect. The aircon controls still feel a bit loose and cheap, and the instrument cluster is far too small and cluttered for my liking. And get this, there's no marker for 110 km per hour, so you won't be sure if you're breaking the speed limit or not. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's totally unacceptable.
Small faults aside though, I would say that the Iriz interior is on par with the Ford Fiesta and the Honda Jazz, but slightly behind the Volkswagen Polo. Would you imagine that? A decently built Proton. That's a first. Now, on to the way it drives. This 1.6 premium model I'm driving has Proton's infamous CVT transmission. And you know what? It's still not the best gearbox in the world. No, far, far, far from it. Don't get me wrong, Proton has made some improvements along the way. The CVT in the Iriz is the best of the lot so far. But then again, it's not saying much now, is it? Where do I start? Let's see. It's not smooth enough. It's nowhere near quiet enough. And there's still that annoying CVT whine. At all speeds. All speeds. I mean, with this gearbox, you never ever want to put your foot down because it just gets way too noisy.
With the turbocharged CFE engine in the Preve and Suprema S, you can always ride on the wave of torque, so you don't really have to rev it hard to go quickly. But on this naturally aspirated motor, you always get the feeling that the engine is struggling to catch up. If you drive it slowly, then it's not that bad. Most drivers will probably think it's alright, but if you enjoy driving, the manual is a much better choice over the CVT. And that's too bad really, because the new VVT variable valve timing engine is actually quite impressive.
There's no doubt that it's new. Proton says they've changed the entire top half of the engine. So the pistons, the valves, they're all new. Power figures haven't changed so much compared to before, but that's only because Proton chose to focus on improving fuel efficiency. Fuel economy is better than ever. You can expect to get around 10 to 13 kilometers per litre in everyday driving conditions. Not bad really. Refinement is pretty good too. I mean, wind noise is minimal, and if not for the CVT whine, you can barely hear the engine running. And now, we get on to the exciting bit, handling. The Iriz scores top marks for this. The steering feels quick and direct like a Fiesta, and it loads up really well. feel is pretty good too for a car with electric power steering. And other than this rim being a bit too big, this car is great around the corners. And then we come to the ride. Oh, it's flipping good for a car this size. It feels very sophisticated and is much closer to the Polo than the Jazz. There's a sense of weight to the way it moves and absorbs road bumps. And as you can see, it's raining. But at least now we know it's not so noisy in here. So, no more Tin Kosong roof. Now, the ride back here isn't so great. It's a lot bumpier here than in front. And if you're going fast on the highway, it can get quite bouncy and uncomfortable. And no, the car isn't driving itself. I've got Hafiz behind the wheel now. Legroom is pretty good back here. The front seat is aligned to my driving position. I'm 6 feet tall, by the way, and I fit in just fine. It's bigger inside than the Fiesta and about the same as the Polo. With that said, the Pro-Duo Myvi still feels roomier inside. The seats, both front and back, are fantastic. They really hug you in all the right places, and it's really rare to have a nicely sculptured rear bench in this class. Others just give you a flat cushion and that's it. Well, that's it for the Iriz then. So, is it any good? Hell yeah it is! I mean, it drives well, it's nicely spec'd, and most important of all, has excellent safety features, including electronic stability control as standard, and 6 airbags on this particular model. It's very easy to recommend over similarly priced rivals such as the Pro-Duo Myvi. However, if you can cope with a manual gearbox, get that instead. If you need a more detailed look at the car specifications, you can check out our latest website, carbase.my. In fact, let me show you myself. I'll just connect to the internet with my 4G LTE ported Wi-Fi by Celcom, and voila!
Carbase.my is Malaysia's most comprehensive car research website, with complete specifications and equipment of all models in our market. And best of all, you can use our comparison feature to see how a car stacks up against its rivals. If you're planning to buy a new car, get all the info you need and more only on carbase.my.
See? Quick and easy. All thanks to this little thing, which is up to 10 times faster than before. It can even serve 10 devices at the same time. I mean, not that this car can fit 10 people lah, but if it could, we would all be connected. Well, that's a wrap from me, Gregory Z. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up and drop us a comment. Till next time, take care, drive safe, indicate, and don't forget to eat your veggies.